Cats don't meow at each other, not really, not the way they meow at you. Somewhere along the way, living next to humans for thousands of years, they built an entire second language, one that only works on us. I put together 30 of these hidden pieces of that language, the ways he's been talking to you this whole time, without you fully realizing it. Not textbook stuff, just what's actually happening every time he opens his mouth, moves his tail, or just looks at you a certain way. 1. Adult cats almost never meow at other cats. Kittens meow at their mothers, then mostly stop once they're grown. The meowing that continues into adulthood is largely reserved for humans specifically. He didn't keep that sound for other cats, he kept it for you. 2. Every cat develops his own personal vocabulary, just for his own household. The meow he uses for food isn't universal. It's specific to him, shaped by however you've responded to it over the years. Another cat wouldn't necessarily understand what he's saying. You're the only one fluent in it. 3. A slow blink is closer to a sentence than a gesture. He looks at you, closes his eyes slowly, opens them again. That's not random. It's one of the closest things cats have to saying something warm on purpose, and it only really happens with someone he trusts. 4. He learns your specific voice patterns, not just your words. Say his name in your normal tone, nothing. Use that slightly different pitch you use just for him, and he's up immediately. He's not responding to language. He's responding to a signal he built around you specifically. 5. A tail held straight up isn't just posture, it's a greeting. Walk in the door, and if that tail goes vertical the second he sees you, that's the equivalent of him saying something close to, "Hello, glad you're back." It's one of the clearest things he tells you without a sound. 6. The chirp, that odd little trilling sound, is mostly reserved for people he actually likes. It's different from a meow, higher, shorter, almost like a question. Cats use it heavily with humans and rarely with each other outside of a mother greeting kittens. If he does it to you, that's specific. 7. He adjusts the pitch and length of his meow depending on what he wants. A short, sharp one for food, a long, drawn-out one for attention, a low, insistent one when something's actually wrong. Owners pick up on this without ever consciously studying it, which is honestly the whole point. 8. Kneading is a leftover message from kittenhood that never got dropped. He does it against your leg, your lap, your stomach, the exact motion kittens use to trigger milk from their mother. He's not asking for milk anymore. He's telling you something closer to comfort, closer to trust. 9. A slightly open mouth with no sound at all is still him talking to you. That silent meow, jaw moving, nothing coming out, isn't a malfunction. Some of the sound is above your hearing range entirely. He's still saying it. You're just not equipped to hear that particular part. 10. He headbutts you specifically to leave a message that lasts after he walks away. Scent glands around his face transfer onto you when he does it. It's not just affection in the moment, it's him marking you as his. In a way he expects to still be there later. 11. A cat that trusts you will show you his belly, but it's not usually an invitation. It's closer to a statement. This is the most vulnerable part of me, and I'm showing it to you on purpose. Reaching for it often gets misread entirely, but the message itself is real. 12. He purrs at you in situations that have nothing to do with happiness. Vet visits, injuries, moments of real stress, and that engine still turns on. Some researchers think it's partly self-soothing, but directed at you, it also reads as a kind of reassurance, both for him and for you. 13. The specific way he wraps his tail around your leg is a message on its own. It's not balance. It's not accidental. That gesture shows up almost exclusively directed at people or animals he's comfortable with, closer to a hand resting on your arm than anything functional. 14. He watches your face specifically when something unfamiliar happens. A new sound, a new object in the room, and instead of investigating alone, he checks your expression first. That's called social referencing, and it's a level of reading you that most people don't expect from a cat. 15. A tail that's puffed up isn't communication meant for you. It's a warning meant for whatever startled him, but he still lets you see it happen in front of him, trusting you to understand it's not directed at you specifically. 16. He brings you things, dead bugs, toys, socks, not as gifts exactly, but closer to a report. In the wild, mother cats bring prey back to teach kittens. Some researchers think a version of that instinct gets redirected at you. The human he considers needs the update. 17. The specific meow used for greeting you at the door is different from every other meow in his vocabulary. It tends to be short, higher-pitched, and immediate. Owners recognize it instantly, even from another room, even half asleep. 18. He follows you room to room not just for company, but to keep tracking what you're doing. It's a small, quiet way of staying looped into your routine, checking in without needing to say anything at all. 19. Ears turned slightly back but not flattened is a specific in-between signal. Mild annoyance, not full alarm. He's telling you something slightly off before it escalates into anything bigger, if you're paying attention early enough to catch it. 20. He sits on your paperwork, your keyboard, your book, not purely for warmth. It's a direct way of inserting himself into whatever's currently getting your attention instead of him. The message is pretty direct, whether you read it that way or not. 21. A low, drawn-out yowl that sounds almost like a word is often specifically about wanting something he can't get to on his own. A closed door, an object out of reach. It's one of the more deliberate, targeted sounds in his entire vocabulary. 22. He mirrors your energy more than people expect. Calm evening, and he settles in slow and quiet nearby. Stressed, rushing around, and he gets restless too, sometimes vocal, sometimes just watching you more closely than usual. 23. Whisker position changes depending on his mood, and it's aimed at whoever's close enough to notice. Forward and relaxed usually means curious or content. Pulled back tightly against his face usually means something's wrong, and he's letting you see it. 24. He learns to associate specific words with specific outcomes, not through grammar, but through repetition and tone. Say the word for treats enough times in the same tone, and he'll respond to that word specifically, even buried in an unrelated sentence. 25. A tail that twitches just at the tip, while the rest of him looks calm, is a subtle warning that patience is running out. It's easy to miss if you're not looking for it, but it's one of the clearer early signals he gives before things escalate. 26. He'll sit just slightly out of reach, close enough to be near you, far enough to avoid contact, which is its own specific message. He wants proximity without demanding touch, a version of company that doesn't require anything from you. 27. The specific way he presents his head for petting, angling it toward your hand instead of waiting, is a direct request, not a passive invitation. He's telling you exactly where and when, if you're paying attention to the angle. 28. He goes quiet in a way that's different from simply being asleep when something's actually wrong physically. A normally vocal cat going unusually silent is one of the clearer and easier to miss signals that something needs checking. 29. He learns your schedule well enough to start asking before the routine even happens. Positioning himself by the door minutes before you'd normally leave, or by the food bowl minutes before feeding time, is his own quiet way of confirming he's tracking you closely. 30. In the end, none of this is really about words. It's a whole language built slowly, specifically, patiently, over years of living next to one person, one house, one routine. He was never going to talk the way you do. He built something else instead, a private line of communication that only really works between the two of you. And once you start noticing it, you realize he's been talking to you the entire time. Now I want to hear from you. Did I miss one? Some specific sound or look your cat only does with you? Something you're pretty sure means something? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one, and it might make it into a future video. And if you've got a moment where you swear your cat was genuinely trying to tell you something, tell me the story. I want to hear it.